Hi everyone, welcome back to the fourth devlog of our game ZomboSurvivor. So, a lot of time has passed since the last devlog, and I was working hard in fixing a lot of issues with the game. There were currently a lot of issues which I have fixed and spend most of the time fixing, and I spend it most basically spend it most of the time testing and fixing the other bugs, and sometime polishing the games, polishing the audio, etc., and testing each enemy to see if it is working. There are so many enemies right now in the game that I can't even comprehend. Like there are 54 enemies in the first version of the game. Uh, some of them are not in the gameplay right now. I added them in the game, but they will be added in the future, hopefully. But for now they are but for now they are just resting in the in the enemy folder. I just made them to experiment with what enemy types are better, and I made a lot of changes in the game. For example, I made a difficulty system, so now players can choose what difficulty they want. And fix some issues with it as well. There were issues with the difficulty system, so I fixed it. So now player can check the difficulty and see what it does. So we have five difficulties: very easy, medium, hard, and impossible. The difficulty is the medium by default, but you can change it anytime you want. The impossible gives enemies just up buff in health and speed, so it basically buffs up the enemies. Hard also buffs up the enemies, and the easy and very easy nerf the enemies a bit by reducing their health and speed. Very easy reduces 20% health and 10% speed. In medium there are no changes, and the enemy in the enemy stats they are not buffed or and nerfed. And I made this control to tell player what each button does. This is for basically the Android version of the game, as you can see. And we have a privacy policy button which I showed previously, I guess. and and I made some other fixing to the defense mode, and some other testing to the enemies here. In the shop I fixed some bugs with the UI scaling, and now if I go and check, the UI scales perfectly. At least it's much better than before. So this was the thing that took a kind of time. It took at some hours, I guess, to fix, but I did have experience with UI scaling a bit. uh, so I fixed it eventually, and I fixed it quite fast. And here in the campaign more nothing has basically changes. I haven't touched most of the things. So basically this devlog was basically spent in debugging and testing the game. I also made this little icon here to tell player about what helps us. Basically, some more giving player some more info, and the best area. I also added a spawning the enemy which spawns other enemies, and some other info. And there is another bug which I will fix soon. There are still some bugs and issues that need to be tested and fixed. For example, there were some bugs with the enemy system. Some smoother transitions needed to happen. The major thing I did is made a smoother transition of animations between of the enemies. So now they can transition smoothly from one animation to the other. Uh, so basically I just unchecked the has exit time when an enemy when enemy goes into an attack animation or idle animation, which basically makes it run much faster, and stops the lagging and doesn't make enemy look dumb. So now the attacks are working perfectly fine, better than before, I can say. And all the enemy logic is still pretty much the same. Did change a few things in the code, but most of the things are still the same. fixed the idling system and the movement system, added some more enemy AI behavior for the future enemies. Uh, just some more lines of code in the enemy movement system. And basically that's it. This entire time was spent in testing the game. I had to play the game over and over again to see if everything is working, what upgrades to pick, and what is the best progression. So it gives an idea. Yeah, I also try to survive as long as possible without buying any upgrades or like upgrading stats, just buying upgrade from the shops and things like that, which is pretty nice, I guess. So that's it for today's devlog. I hope you all are fine, and I will see you in the next devlog. Goodbye.